Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Cartwright. If you have not already done so, please watch and listen to the song that talks about the 3 ways that we can repeat a shape to form a tessellation. One of them is translation or slide tessellations, which is what we will be focusing on today. And then 2 others are rotation and reflection, which you'll have the opportunity to work on in some of the math enrichment. Just a quick review, a regular tessellation is a pattern made by repeating a regular polygon. Now, we're not going to be creating regular tessellations today. We're going to be making it a little bit more complicated so that your designs are a little bit more complex and I think a little bit more fun as well. It's still important to remember that the shapes need to meet at a corner point and they need to line up perfectly so that they are not overlapping and there are not any gaps in between them. As I said before, there are 3 ways to repeat shapes in tessellation. You have translation or slide, which I said we're doing today. So you could take the shape like this triangle and slide it over. You can slide it down, you can slide it back, you can slide it up, or you can do a rotation tessellation where you can take this shape and then you can turn it either clockwise or counterclockwise. And then for reflection tessellations, you actually go in and then flip the shape. So as I said, rotation and reflection will be enrichment options for you, which I think they're a ton of fun and you should check them out. But for today, we are just going to be focusing on the slide tessellation. To get started, I'm going to play this video for you, which gives a brief overview on how to make the tessellation. All right, so I hope you guys are excited to be able to make that. I wanted to go ahead and break the steps down for you a little bit more because I know it took me a lot longer than it took her to get that done. So the first thing you're going to need to do is prepare a square piece of paper for your template. And don't forget to measure the sides of the squares to make sure they're all the same length. I made mine 3 inches by 3 inches, but you can do whichever measurements work for you. One thing that I did not do that I think would be really helpful is if you have cardstock or a slightly thicker paper, it will make it a little bit easier when you're actually going through and tracing your design onto the tessellation. Okay, for step 2, you cut out the square. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Step 3, you need to draw the lines on your square. So you can do this really however you want to. You do not have to copy exactly what I have here or what she made in the video, but just make sure that they line up at the corners. So the first one, you need to start at this corner, move it some way so that it goes to this corner, and then the second one, start at this top left corner and then design it some way that it ends up at the top right corner. And then before moving on, you need to make sure that you label part 1 and part 2. This will be really important so you can keep track of where the things go in the next steps. Step 5, you're going to want to cut along the lines, making sure to cut directly on the corners of the square. And then you need to label part 3, which is that extra piece. And I found it really helpful to arrange my pieces like this so that I would know how to put them together. For step 7, you're going to take this piece, which was down here, and line it up on the top of part 3 and then tape the pieces together. And then for the next step, for step 8, you're going to take part 1, which was sitting over here, and just slide it over and then tape it to the side of part 3. And here you have the shape that you're going to be tracing on your bigger piece of paper. Now, this is a pretty long process. So if you have run out of time for math today on the first day, stop right here and then make sure you save this design so that you can use it tomorrow. If you're having a great time and you want to continue, feel free to do more work today. Okay, then step 9, you need to trace the shape on your larger piece of paper, and you need to slide the shape and continue tracing until the entire paper is full. So I started up here and I traced around, and then I moved all the way down, and then I moved it up here and fit it in perfectly and started tracing again and moved it down. And then I had to do mine a third time over here, but not all of the shape I created fit on the paper, but you still have to finish it over there. Okay, so once you have everything covered on your bigger piece of paper, move on, and you can trace the pencil lines with a Sharpie or marker and then color or paint your tessellation design. As you notice here, I made mine a little bit more simple than hers, and I just decided to color mine in. You can do whatever you want and make it as creative as you would like. I am so excited to see what you guys come up with. And have a lot of fun doing it. Be sure to reach out if you have questions. The last thing you need to do is post a picture of your creation to CSAS for your teachers to check out. All right, I hope you enjoyed learning about tessellations, and I hope you can find somewhere to display this piece of artwork in your home. All right, have a great day, fourth graders.